Yeah, we'll see how well LIMMP can do it mid matchup. I mean, LIMMP puck, definitely one of the finest pucks in the industry. We'll see how well a lead he can get against Topson, or if Topson is going to cause issues for him in the laning stage. I mean, sort of looking at the side lanes, we started here from the panel, some of the strengths they thought were going on for the duos. Is there any sort of matchup you think that's going to be hard for one of the teams here?
I'm definitely curious about bottom, because as we see, Seb actually levels his stun level 1 just to make sure that Saksa's illuminate hits. I think Nikobaby is going to struggle a bit, because once he gets some points up in the armor, Seb, he's not really going to care about the damage that Weaver's outputting, and thus he can kind of just play up in his face. Weaver's got pretty low base armor. I love the DK pick. I think it was the best pick of the draft. It basically said we have a super tanky stunner that you can't do anything to, that can find any of your squishy cores out.
And sort of the overall game, how does it look for a carry Weaver? You know, is this a game where Nikobaby's going to have a lot of difficulties ahead of him when you see what he's playing into?
I legitimately don't know what item build he's going to go for. Like, I would lean towards Maelstrom SNY, because you have a lot of enablers to keep you alive, and you just need to survive through the disables that Seb's going to dish out with maybe like a quick follow-up from the Grimstroke. But he might just have to go for that early BKB, and if you've got a Wisp behind you and a Beastmaster orb buffing you up, that's just not what I would deem like a feels good. You know, you're excited to go BKB second item on Weaver.
I think one thing that's definitely going to be fun to keep our eyes on this game when we look over to the carry of OG, Mid1 on his Ember. But we've seen it from Mid1 in these games. He likes to bring something a little new to the table sometimes with his builds. Do you think there's going to be any sort of inventive items coming out from Mid1 this game?
I would be pleasantly surprised if he goes for the boost to travel Midas.
On the Ember, let's go. Yeah.
I think it's probably going to be a Desolator. I would like to see as his like damage item. They've got a lot of magic damage, and they've also got low armor cores. Weaver starts with 3 or 4. Puck starts with about 0, and he can really make it so that they just get blown up before they can even react.
See bottom again. Just still 7 stacks. You're getting a lot of damage done here. Opening with the Dragon Tail, and still no points to the passive. Just going full on the offensive here, Seb. 2 in the breath and set up, of course, with the stun. CS though down bottom. Seeing Nikobaby not have any trouble at all. 16 last hits against Seb's 12 and 3. And the mid matchup for now, pretty even here between LIMMP and Topson. I guess both heroes with solid nukes to just sort of bounce the lane back and forth between each other.
I would imagine mid's pretty much just a trade. They both have reliable ways to CS. They can both avoid the other person's nukes. I don't see how they could ever really deny each other much at all. This is interesting. You don't really see the DK skill build like this at all, but I guess the Keeper of the Light Chakra Magic really does enable certain wonky skill builds that are usually mana limited.
On the top half of the map, S4 still finding, you know, not quite as much as Seb is on the respective offlane on the other side, but still not getting completely zoned out. Thanks to the presence of FNG. FNG taking the time to move over towards mid. They're going to look to try and set up onto Topson. Topson going to ink swell himself, forcing LIMMP to jump away, keep his distance. But Topson is very low right now. Phantom's Embrace and the nuke going to be dodged very nicely by LIMMP with the phase shift. And Topson on the courier. Has he got any regen? He hasn't. So Topson's going to have to take the walk all the way back to base. So a nice bit of pressure there from FNG on the mid, giving LIMMP a free wave or so.
Yeah, the pace of the game tends to ramp up a lot around the 5-minute catapults and bounties, and I've been seeing a lot of mids who end up not getting the bottle refill at 4 minutes. Choose to just go back to base. Seems pretty common nowadays, so don't fret if you find yourselves in your games in a similar spot.
Back to lane now, no tail whilst the space was there. I'm going to hang around, make sure XP wasn't missed out upon. See, for the 5-minute runes, no tail. Step up, down, bottom. Nikobaby trying to get aggressive onto Saksa. Stun will hold him back. Does he want to try and chase for the call? He won't. Start to have to think about these 5-minute runes already. Top of the river, FNG. That Fisher, make sure that he's able to pick it up before no tail is. And LIMMP coming across to get that one on their half. I mean, it's 2 for 2 on the bounties.
For my coffee. Just what I've been waiting for.
All all in all, a very close and passive start. Nobody yet to fall here 5 minutes in between Alliance and OG.
I like the skill build from Ember. They don't really have any aggressive potential because Pangolier's a relatively weak laning 5 position, and the fact that you have this really strong laning independent Ember Spirit allows for you to have this Pango. So he's kind of just choosing to go for the constant harass with Slight, but then he's going to still enable his own farm and also ways to deal with the waves so that Beastmaster can't really set up any tower pushes by going for no points in this thing.
Sitting around the mid lane again, FNG. Let's come across again, Alliance just having the superior control around these power runes. LIMMP having to grab that DD up. And now they've got to be on the ready here. He has hit level 6, but actually not opting for a point in the Dream Coil quite yet, LIMMP.
Radiant are scanning.
I guess that does speak to the pace of the game. Both teams, I think once they get to those timings, it's gonna be from 100 to or 0 to 100 real quick. As of right now, it looks like this is the first time I've ever seen somebody skip ult on Puck. But if the Earthshaker intends on staying mainly around the Beastmaster top, then I don't think he will ever have the solo kill.
Yeah, I mean, and skipping it again. Yeah, hits level 7, still not putting a point in the Dream Coil. I mean, as you say, if he doesn't need it, he doesn't need it.
This is just confidence on a hero to go this really wonky skill build. Saw the DK bottom, see the Puck skipping the coil here. These guys have definitely been in this spot before, and they just know what to expect coming in the next few minutes.
Top lane, S4 now with the next look out, putting a lot of pressure onto midone. I mean, midone's just out of mana. He's just dead. Ooh, okay, stick charge with the side of fist. He gets the remnant out, but he hasn't got enough to jump to it. I mean, that necro book just destroyed midone. He just slowly let himself get beaten down and the mana taken out. Yeah, but towards mid LIMMP, trying to play aggressive in onto Topson. TP backup coming in for OG. FNG's there on the side with LIMMP to back him up. Got the DD as well here on LIMMP. He wants to get back in step. Stepping over to FNG, finds the setup. Extra damage coming through from Saksa with the Illuminate. LIMMP still able to jump in and clean up the mid kill. Topson goes down. An extra TP coming over from OG. They're bringing in midone. They're going to look to try and get the catch onto LIMMP, but LIMMP, he's more than fine, of course, with this skill build. As you say, no points in chain, so they don't have the setup, and LIMP's able to get out of there.
I like what Alliance is doing. These early moves are really nice. They're pressuring multiple points on the map. They're getting some nice kills, but yet OG still has the lead. You can see that all 3 cores farming really well.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
That haste rune just allowing him to get straight back down to the bottom lane. We'll see him farm up the blink on the DK to make sure that OG's got that solid initiation.
I take what I
mentioned a great target for Topson to buff up with the ink swell and have that first jump in. You know, LIMMP at his level 8, holding on to the point. Does have the point ready to drop if he sees an opportunity to get active, potentially on the side lanes with the Dream Coil.
The best thing for OG that the Beastmaster wore, even though it got the kill on the Ember, it didn't result in a tower or loss of farm. The Pango took over the lane, they were still farming the mid lane, and we might see a repeat here, S4.
Again, just this mana burn from the necro books just causing such an issue here for midone. It's easy kills anytime he shows in the lane here. 2 times now, S4. Just, he's loving life up there. Down bottom, they're going to try and make the aggressive move onto Steps, setting up with the Dream Coil. Have they got enough damage to break down this Dragon Knight? Step tries to turn a Hulk back to one of them, but it's not enough to stop him from going down. Tips out as well here from Nikobaby. It's top lane. Been hunting in the trees to see if they can get no-tail too. This is, again, just the power of S4 and this early necrobook timing that you can get on the Beastmaster. I mean, I've never seen sort of the rush get so many kills. You know, sure, you know, getting it this fast, you're going to have that pressure. They've already lost 3 heroes on this top lane to the necrobook.
Yeah, they're electing to leave the coddle bottom, but also enable the DK's pressure there, rather than try to alleviate some pressure top, which is interesting. They're definitely paying the price for it on the side of OG. But yeah, this is a 10th pick Beastmaster. Really good Beastmaster game at this stage. They have a lot of point-click targets to you roar them, they're gonna die. And also, the Earthshaker setup to make sure he can reliably get the roar off on a hero like Ember is quite nice. But just notice how OG just has so much wave. Even when they're getting these kills, they're getting these dives. Now OG's finally gonna make their rotation, and DK's ultimate is at the ready, and they might be the first to take an objective despite a lot of these early kills going through.
These gross beings.
See how much pressure they can put on top lane. OG gets it again. Fisher into roar, into goodbye mana. I mean, these two are just crushing this top lane. Like midone, he's died here 3 times now, Brian.
Yeah, that one might just be. Radiant's
Bottom lane. Ooh, I'm gonna have that blast to the side, knocks FNG away before he pops the echo. So OG able to keep the majority of them out of the range of that setup attempt.
Is under attack.
As OG, can they chase here? Alliance doing a good job of just getting away. They have lost the tower, but not losing any unnecessary heroes here, Alliance, as they could just keep themselves completely out of there. Of course, with all these kills S4's got up top, he's now able to finish off the tower. And here, 11.5 minutes in, he's already got the level 3 Necro.
Jesus. 3rd time's the charm. Do get the tower. 3rd kill on mid one. I wonder who they're gonna have take over the top lane. Will it one of the supports? Pangolier and Coddle are both good options. Looks like they are gonna send Saksa to the top. Look, if they're going to feed somebody now, at least it hopefully won't be a super high value target.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Absolutely, yeah. Midbone's got to find his space elsewhere on the map. How's his farm going? He's got the javelin, yeah, just trying to rush that maelstrom here.
It's not in my nature.
To help him sort of pick his game back up, as he's understandably with those 3 deaths that he had up there, falling a little bit behind on the Ember. Good bottom, Seb. If you can get the walk in, but TP is already coming over towards the outpost. Alliance there, more than happy to fight this. They're just going to turn them straight towards Seb. No-Tail on top of it, up for the Hydra. Seb in the first blow. Good angle with the rolling thunder though. No-Tail catching on to the 3 of them. Ink's well stuck, pull up onto LIMMP. Hanging with it. Handsken providing the heals. The face shift dodges the sleight of fist, but the chains are up. Midone's able to lock him down. They'll kill off LIMMP. Nikobaby with the time lapse will manage to get his way out. As at the same time on the top half of the map, S4 picks up another. Takes out Saksa. They may have got LIMMP, but they've still lost 2 overall. Midone's continuing to try and chase onto Handsken. With Nikobaby by his side, OG have to hold back. They can't dive in any further onto these 2.
It's nice to see that OG lives the same life that I live when they play against Beastmaster this patch. Whoever goes to the top lane is just gonna die. I know we all talk about the memes of the dead lane and everything, but this Beastmaster hero is ridiculous. There's this like fight going on bottom, and S4, he hasn't moved. Like if you see his heat map, it's top lane. That's all it is. He's been sitting there pushing it in, roaring whoever shows up when his Necro book's available. And since that cooldown got reduced instead of 2-8, pretty much all the time.
This is yeah, some pretty flawless Beastmaster play here from S4 so far. They're going to try and make a gank onto him. No-Tail trying to close in with the thunder. What sort of backup is there? FNG's waiting in the shadows. So No-Tail, he's going to be fine there. FNG not quite able to block him in with the Fisher. As No-Tail gets out, but again, you know, those 4 of OG trying to sweep across. They really want to slow down S4's game, but unable to do so there, as S4 is going to continue to have all the space that he wants up it.
That is such good map awareness from S4. He has been aggressive 14 minutes in a row, and the one time they make a move on him, he was fully aware of it. He was backing off before they even got there, and it's so important he stays alive. He's 5-0.
Yeah, this is
#1 net worth.
This couldn't be any better for him so far, and he's ready to turn it into a 6-0. He's in with the smoke with FNG. They're going to set up on a No-Tail. There it is. It's going to be another one for him for sure. Maybe not with the swashbuck or the slow. Still causing issues. No-Tail, he's got nowhere to roll out. And the damage for these Necro books is too much here. Another kill for S4. Completely unstoppable on this Beastmaster. And hey, would you look at that? Perfect position to start having a bit of a chip at the tier 1 tower mid.
Progression for Beastmaster, you take the top tower and eventually you look to invade the mid tower, whether you casually walk there or whether you turn it from a smoke gank. Even though it gets denied, that's just such an important tower to take at this stage against a hero like DK, where he wants to take your mid tower. I know it's not a mid DK, but the team that takes the first mid tower makes it harder for the other team to...
Going on down LIMMP. Orb's already out. He's able to jump away. And we're seeing this a few times now. You know, OG tried that sweep on S4 up top. They're trying to get LIMMP in the jungle. Alliance doing a really good job this game of staying a bit of a step ahead of OG and making it hard for OG to make these aggressive moves that they kind of need to succeed with the lineup that they have.
Yeah, Nikobaby 3 is dead, so this should just be a free tower mid, I would assume. But thus far, Alliance, like you said, their moves have been quite crisp. I would say that I don't know what they do without the Beastmaster's Book 3. That is really the hero. So glad to see they agree and they back off. Weaver, he's got, yes, Maelstrom, no boots, on. Okay.
Trying to get in onto FNG. And with Seb's follow-up, he'll have it.
Yeah, I like this Weaver build a lot. You don't need boots necessarily when you have the IO and Sakuchi. The Sanj makes his game so much easier to play because he'll be able to much more reliably survive through that initial volley of spells, plus up the healing he gets from the IO. OG looks to want to make a move top.
Tricky one to catch though, especially with Handsken by his side, and Handsken's already ready to take him out with a relocate.
Yeah, that was never going to work, I think. Alliance just has really good positioning on the map. Really good awareness. LIMMP was instantly ready to dodge that gank. That's for dodge the smoke gank earlier. And Handsken, I guess that's the price they pay, and I'm sure OG kind of expected that to be the end result if IO was behind him.
Fine. Been out of that move, but still 9-5, just a 1k lead. It is close. Alliance.
So he's got the Boots of Travel Midas Ember version. He's going Maelstrom into Boots of Travel.
Alliance with the smoke might catch one of them walking up here. Yeah, Raw down to mid one. You're gonna have Seb jump in with the backline, but the Fish is already gonna finish mid one off. As mid one goes down, Seb popping the outer dragon form, opting to try and fight, but he's completely out of mana thanks to the Necro book. And Seb, he's going to get left behind. The rest of his team railing on him. As Seb goes down, Nikobaby getting in aggressive with the chase onto Topson. The Cyrus from him and the damage here from this play, causing Noto to have to jump out. Topson's also been split from the lineup as Topson falls. Double kill for S4. As they're really struggling OG here. Alliance just each and every time creating this impenetrable defense that OG just can't seem to fight into right now.
Yeah, I almost feel like this is a bit lazy for mid one. He just walked up a high ground with no vision, with all of Alliance missing, and it definitely requires Alliance to be properly positioned at all times to punish that sort of move, but he was #1 net worth on his team despite the rough start that he had, and he just walked up the high ground and died instantly with no impact at all. Alliance capitalizing to the max on that one. They're now up by 5,000 gold at 18 minutes.
Yeah, this is looking like such a cleaner Alliance compared to what we saw from them in the first series that they had here in the league. They definitely went away and did their homework, and they've tightened up their gameplay dramatically between that last series and what we're seeing from them now, as this is just top form Alliance here, and big smiles from S4. I mean, you can't blame him. He's 8-0-1 on his Beastmaster. He is having quite the game.
Yeah, I don't know if OG was ready for this. Alliance is playing so well. I feel like both drafts had nice win conditions, and Alliance's draft, I would say, was a bit more fragile in terms of the timings that it had to hit, the map control it had to siege early, and they are doing it.
Seb, we'll be looking for some sort of setup there. Cautious though, as Handsken and Nikobaby there by the side, and of course Handsken ready at a moment's notice to bring Nikobaby straight into the action. Anti-rooms coming up to Seb. He's gonna jump in on this. I mean, there's a relocate coming over. Okay, has got Saksa by his side. But already LIMMP's jumped on the back lines with the Dream Course. Seb is dead. As the Thunder comes out, the Fisher's in place. Nikobaby's going to start to poke at the back lines, looking towards Topson. S4 just standing his ground with the BKB. As Nikobaby and FNG look to chase them down. midbone's got a roll, but the Echo comes down. midbone's locked down into the silence. midbone goes down. It's 3 dead on OG. Topson's trying to run. He's out of mana. He's also going to force a team wipe. I mean, what is OG doing? They're just making it easy for Alliance. I mean, that was a pretty wild initiation from Zedrive.
Yeah, I feel like S4 had to work really hard for his earlier kills, but the last two have just been forward slinking or walking up high grounds into him.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know. Thinking to themselves that Alliance has to mess up. Like, we have to make these corrected plays, and if Alliance is not ready for them, they will work. But Alliance has been in the right position, and it's just so clean.
Yeah,
I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, no, this is, I mean, as you say, you know, I guess OG waiting for a mistake from Alliance. This Alliance doesn't look like it's going to make any mistakes this game. From what we've seen so far, I mean, how big their heroes are getting. Nikobaby, the next thing you know, he's going to have his Skadi complete. And then once he has that on top of the S and Y, there's going to be more than ample time for Handsken to just get in every single time and offer up that extra bit of heal and sustain to make it very hard for OG to ever be able to burst through this Weaver. Bottom lane LIMMP, he's in with the setup onto midone. midbone's down, roar onto Notel, holding him in place in the Rolling Thunder. And they're just chasing for more. There's just no stopping here from Alliance. Straight over to Topson. Topson cannot do anything here against the full 5 of them surrounding him and taking him down. It's 20-5, 21 minutes in, 9k lead for Alliance as they are completely dominating OG.
When he's got the Wisp tethering him, the Necrobook move speed aura, and Sakuchi, he's at 700 plus movement speed on Nikobaby. So with that, that's without boots. For the record, the S&Y is actually more value because it's bonus percent movement speed, which Sakuchi is flat bonus move speed. So he's getting like basically more than boots out of an S&Y. We are concerned about Weaver's survivability in tandem with his lack of damage early, but he has this Imp Claw as a nice neutral item, and he's able to skip the boots, so his other timings are coming online much earlier. Weaver does suffer with regen. He's a hero that usually has to go for like a Falcon Blade or an earlier Lincoln Spear against a hero like DK. This IO is definitely enabling Nikobaby to just go for all of these luxurious items that feel real nice.
Bottom. I mean, midone tries to go in onto FNG, but LIMMP's in with the backup. Calls down. midone getting burst low. Notel in with the Rolling Thunder to provide some safety for midone. He ticks down low. They do get FNG over to the side. Topson was trying to join the team, but S4 puts him in position with the Roar. Saksa trying with the TP out. Is he going to make it away? He does. Only just, but again, Topson dying. S4 continues to just sort of take whatever he wants it each and every time. The Roar's guaranteeing a kill, and there's no save from OG. As soon as S4 opens up onto someone, it's an easy kill for Alliance.
Handsken has pinged Seb here. They obviously don't see him based on what we see with their wards, but they know that Seb was not at that fight, and he must be somewhere else, and there's not too many options left. Seb cleans up the triangle, trying to complete his BKB. I think that fight honestly wasn't that bad for OG. All things considered, there were a lot of narrow escapes coming out from them, and then in the meantime, Seb was completing a crucial item on the other side of the map. So this may be go time. I don't really know when there's a better go time for OG. BKB from DK, he has Blink BKB at this point. I don't even know if it's enough to draw damage now. Might just be too overwhelming, despite the fact that DK was meant to be tanky in this game.
Yeah, I know, just Nikobaby so huge. I mean, 24 minutes in, Maelstrom S&Y Skadi, as we saw there on the numbers, it's just under 3 minutes faster than what you can normally expect to see on a Weaver. They're looking for a fight here, Alliance. And Seb, he's going to try and start it. They're trying to get rid of Handsken, see if they can burst in with the combo. But the Roar's out onto Topson. Handsken's still alive. Seb, can he finally finish him off? He can. Notel comes in with the Rolling Thunder. They get the kill, but Topson's going to fall for the Necrobook. They've got the chains onto S4. Follow-up drag Dragon Tail stuff from Seb, but there's the coverage from FNG, lays down the Fisher, stops them from being able to kill off S4, as OG again just losing another horrendous team fight for themselves. They lose 4, they only get Handsken, and they really had to throw everything onto the IO to even get that kill at all.
You know, I've had some casual Dota players come in and say, I feel like I can't have much impact in the offlane. I feel like I'm always reliant upon my team to carry me, and I feel like S4 is shutting that notion down. Like, I can't believe this. This is insane performance. 12-0-5. This is how you carry a freaking game from the offense.
Yeah.
Last pick, they trusted him to do exactly this by giving him last pick. I guess he gave himself last pick, so he trusted himself. Hey, you know what? Faith in yourself, that's important too. But I don't know, man. This is such good play. Like, they're dying to his stuff on the ground, and it's enabling so much to happen with these squishy heroes we were concerned about. Oh, they're not so squishy when the threats are all just dead.
Just caught outside of the base. Nikobaby's going to chase him off. He's dead. There's going to be a buyback from Saksa. They're trying to turn this around. No-tail looking for the angle in with the Thunder, but LIMMP, he's already got the match community out. Good to go. Stands his ground. It's going to be LIMMP one out for the count. He has got a buyback. No-tail trying to TP away. They're going to be able to kill him before he's even out of there. As No-tail's out of the game. Seb and Saksa just getting pushed back to the fountain here by Nikobaby. There seems to be very little that OG can do right now to hold Alliance back. 29-7, 18k lead. 26 minutes in Alliance, they're taking the top racks. Tier 3's down, racks are exposed. It doesn't seem like OG can hold this at all. Seb, I mean, he's got nothing here. He's trying to run, but they're underneath the tier 4s. It's getting messy. It's getting very, very messy here. As again, you know, this is so different to the Alliance that we saw the other day. This is the Alliance that the fans expected to see, and my goodness, they're getting a show right here in Game 1 against OG.
That might have been the funniest use of Echo Slam I've ever seen. FNG, no blink, but just a shard. And Echo Slam to keep the Aftershock stun on Topson, so he wasn't able to cast any of his spells. Yeah, the GG's call absolutely outplayed by Alliance and OG there. I thought both drafts were very nice. The panel seemed to favor